Alright, we're getting another story for the day. I hate people who take up way too much space in public and they aren't aware of their spatial surroundings. Like, I hate it when people overtake the sidewalk, especially because it's like, let's say you're like two people walking down like a skinny ass sidewalk and I'm someone coming the other direction. Two people coming this way, I'm coming this way. The polite thing to do is scoot a bit to the side, or one person goes behind the other so that I can pass through. It won't harm you, it only takes a few seconds, but some people don't do that. They want to overtake the whole fucking sidewalk and try to knock me off. Or they'll just like bombard past me and then I gotta look like an asshole and call them a bad word. Or someone gets jostled. But even worse, sometimes I'll be in Berkeley with people with zero spatial awareness. It could be like, oh, it could be like in a fucking 8 foot wide sidewalk. Like imagine the biggest sidewalk imaginable. And imagine like I'm standing against a wall and someone can see me and still choose I'm going to walk directly into this person against the wall. And then only when I'm just like breathing, like I can just straight up kiss them distance, am I going to move to the side on an empty sidewalk. Someone actually did that same shit to me in San Francisco. I remember I straight up was like at like looking at the Bay Bridge with a friend, and I looked to my side, and there's this old man who's walking our direction. But he's like old enough where he's like young and spry, but he had sunglasses on and it was foggy. And I thought to myself, this dude sees us standing here, right? It seems like he's just like wall lighting. He does see us right here, right? My friend was like, yeah, that's kind of weird. Wonder why he's doing that. And then guess what? The guy walked, and then it seemed like he actually full on had to have his nose almost damn near touch my jaw before he realized, oh, there's a person. He either knew we were there and expected us to move for him on some weird king shit. I've met people with that mindset, and I hate people with that mindset. Or he had fucked up eyesight. But he wasn't blind. He didn't have a walking stick. Or at least, like, I don't know, maybe it was just some old dude with sunglasses who just didn't see us. I like to think. Still kind of strange. I was in Piedmont. I remember there was, oh god, it was like this big, wide fucking man who also happened to be a white man. Like just to make it rhyme because the rhyme was there. And there was this woman with a pregnancy stroller, and I thought, okay, there's enough space where this could be possible for me to walk past. Like the sidewalk was decently wide, and it's like the man should have probably known he was taking up like a solid like 70% of the sidewalk. There was like, and it's like, okay, I can't just walk into the fucking street because that's a safety hazard. There's nowhere else for me to walk. But luckily, there was like a small sliver of concrete that I thought, okay, I can just sliver past here because this dude wasn't having any courtesy or manners to like shift his body in any single way, shape, and form. And so, but we just like glided past each other, no real bumping happened, but that's only because I had to physically turn sideways and shit to walk past him. This nigga wanted to loudly be like, oh my god, some people just think they're the king of the sidewalk. And I just said, I know, right? Back, because it's like, sir, that's you. You like why? Like you're taking up all this space, and you could have moved out of the way. Like even your fucking wife or daughter or whoever the fuck that was, significantly younger than you with the baby in the stroller, was struggling to walk with you because you were taking so much sidewalk space. Like get a fucking grip. But anyway, people with no spatial awareness piss me the fuck off because I'll be in Berkeley. Like I said, it could be like a sidewalk fucking 8 feet, maybe even 10 feet fucking wide, big ass space, all the room in the world to walk around. I could even just be standing on the red line of the sidewalk, damn near touching the street. And then you will still have someone, somehow, jostle you so fucking hard that you fall off. And it's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? I remember once I was walking around in public, and there was this girl where, like, it seemed like I remember I got off a bus and started walking. And it seemed like this girl's subconscious. Like she was on her phone, just like typing. But she was way out of the way. So imagine you see someone subconsciously just like full on target you like a heat seeking missile and almost bump into you. And at the absolute last second, you dodge her. I just thought, how are you that fucking stupid? That seemed intentional, wasn't it? And I guess like somehow, like despite her doing that, we actually somehow were walking the same direction. I thought that's weird. How did she walk into me like that if we're also walking the same direction? But anyway, she ends up ahead of me. Some guy's coming the opposite way. Like, empty fucking all that space around her. And she does the exact same thing. She's so deep in her phone, and her subconscious is like, I must be social. Subconsciously bump into somebody. And so, as she's just walking, it's like her body does this weird thing where she just like, like a fucking chess move. Like she's a fucking chess piece. She just like diagonally walks into this man. And then like he narrowly dodges her too, and he just looks back like, what the fuck? wait. And he was just looking around as if he was on some fucking game show. And he looked at me, and I was like, yeah, that's fucking weird. I didn't understand it. I also hate people on bikes, especially in my area, because my area literally has segregated bike lanes. So you don't have to worry about being hit by a car because it's specifically separated by like big blocks of cement. So it could be like someone on a bike could be like, 8 foot wide sidewalk, all this space, and also an extra like solid like 3 to 4 feet of space with this bike lane. I'm going to run and like ride my bike right into Tamiya, and they choose to do it. This has happened so many times that I think it's like a fucking game for some people. And, oh my god, I just wish I had like a body cam so that you could see the amount of times that someone on their bike could have all this space, and some of them even could just decide. I think it's like an ego thing for some people. They want to be able to like make you move to feel powerful or whatever because they don't get bitches or whatever. Like, yeah, like, or hell, this one lady, she was smoking a cigarette on a bike. She told me to, she said, move, bitch, as she rode on a bike past. I was nowhere in her way. It was an entirely empty sidewalk in fucking 3 a.m., like fucking 8 a.m. that day. No one else on the street. She did not need to do that. Some people do it because they're fucking weird. I also hate people where I have to do games like sidewalk shuffle, where it's like I have to keep moving back and forth. Like I'll move, but then on their side, they'll move right into the lane I was in, and then I'll go, that was weird. I move again. They wait a few seconds, they move again, and it's like, okay, you're about to piss me the fuck off. And then guess what? Somehow we end up almost colliding, or by the time we actually just, it's like, what the fuck is wrong with you people? Some people do it as a game, some people just, I don't like that. It pisses me off so bad. I remember this one bitch in high school. I knew for a fact that she enjoyed doing it for fun because I guess in her mind, like, she was like, I'm the popular girl and I'm glad that I can make the special ed girl who's nervous all the time. I'm glad I can make her like like fucking upset or just like have to shuffle. Like, it's like an ego thing for some people. They like the whole, ooh, I'm glad that I have to make people shamble to get the fuck away from me. And so I remember eventually with her, I just was like, you know what? I'm gonna just not move because I know she's getting off on. Like, I see her smile when she did it. I decided I'm not only not gonna move, but I'm gonna speed the fuck up. And so in this hallway we were in, like, she saw me, she did that shit again. I just sped walked the fuck up and rammed that bitch over so hard. She and her fucking white little fancy bag with the belt buckle on it fell the fuck over. I was like, fuck you. I remember once at that same high school, I think it was a different year, but I don't remember. These kids were walking in a fucking line as if it was like a movie montage. Like, you ever see those movies, like in Monsters Inc. and shit, where they have all the characters walk in slow motion to show that they're so fly and hip and cool, and they're all in a fucking long ass line? But it's high school. Kids are trying to get to their classes, so everyone else was like, ah, shit, we gotta run to the sides and run through the mud and the dirt because all these kids are taking, like, 10 fucking kids just fucking locking arms and shit on their way to their classes, trying to look cool. Everyone was shambling to get the fuck out of their way. No one could get around their impenetrable wall of puberty, and I just was like, you know what? Fuck this shit. They're inconveniencing everybody. So I took it upon myself as the special ed kid with issues and with the fucking school shooter jacket. I was like, you know what? Let me do this. I just let my eyes glaze over and just full on deadpan face just walked unmovingly down the middle. And I got super close. I was like, if I ram into these kids, I ram into them. I don't give a fuck. And what happened is the two kids who actually noticed me were like, oh shit. Like, one of them didn't move, but the other did. And so the one kid who did, he managed to run into all of his other friends who did not notice me, and they all tipped over like some fucking dominoes on some Jenga shit. Like, if you, it felt like a bowling ball, like when you hit the fucking pins. And that also happened on the other side too, because the kid who didn't move, he tripped and fell, leaned back, and all the other kids fell back. And then I got to keep moving unfucking touched, laughing my ass off, and everybody witnessed a bunch of fucking kids tangled in their backpacks, legs and Converse flying up in the air and shit. I loved that. Now, onto the second part of this video. People, I was talking to this guy. I went to a comedy event the other night, and I was walking home. Like, I took the Bart with this sweet guy. He wanted to make sure I got home safely. And as we were on the Bart, we were talking, we were flirting. I was like, this guy is cute. He was flirting with me. Then guess what? On a long ass train. I don't know how long the trains are, but let's just say, imagine some dude on an entirely empty fucking train aside from two other people decides to walk somewhere between like 40 feet, maybe 80 feet, because it was a long ass train. He walks all that fucking distance, and chooses to sit behind us on an empty fucking Bart car and start loudly singing crack cocaine, cocaine, doing cocaine. And guess what? He was doing cocaine. He opened this little plastic baggie and pulled out a thick white rock. And I could have sworn I saw that nigga eating it like it was some fucking mints. Like it was the best fucking Altoids he had in his goddamn life. And my date, or the guy, not the date, but the guy I was interested in, he didn't notice that. He just kind of thought, oh, she seems like she's creeped out, or maybe she just doesn't want to talk to me anymore. But once we got off the BART, I just full on was like, yeah, that dude was just full on eating crack rocks behind us, whatever the fuck he was doing. It was also kind of funny because while we were on the train, like, we did have a moment where me and the guy I was talking to managed to still go back to flirting. Normally, like, the sound died down, the guy stopped singing about doing crack rocks and started peacefully doing crack rock. But the crack rock guy was staring at me hella fucking hard, which was very fucking gross and made me happy that I had a man with me at this time of night, because otherwise that guy 100% would have harassed me. But motherfucking, oof, I was talking to the guy about my autism, and then the crack rock guy, eavesdropping hella obviously on our conversation, he's like, oh, you got autism? I say, yeah, I do. He said, oh, I'm so fucking sorry to hear that. And I said, oh, no, don't be. No worries, no need to be sorry, I'm fine with it. And he was like, oh, well, as long as you're secure in yourself. And then he went in, and he said he likes my hair, and he went back to doing crack rock. So, you know what? I'll take it. That was a pleasant ending to an infuriating experience. Like, all the place you had to scream and yell, and you chose to walk. Like he said, I'm gonna fuck up these people's whole night. Just add to the vibes. Now, mind you, this has been happening more often lately, and it's been pissing me the fuck off. I was on a bus recently, like, damn near almost entirely empty again. And then, like, I heard that it's like a thing. Subconsciously, if someone does that, it's because humans are known to be social creatures. They want to make friends and be in groups. It makes them feel safer. So that's why sometimes on an empty bus, that's why someone might, like, sit behind you or sit, like, that's my only issue. If they sit behind me or they try to sit directly next to me on an entirely empty bus, that creeps me the fuck out. That's not normal. It's, like, really. I remember some dude, I was fed up because some dude decided to sit directly fucking behind me on an entirely empty bus. And not only that, he kicked my seat, like, immediately hella hard, like, 3 times. Like, I'm sure it was an accident, but me, I was fed the fuck up. I spun around hella quick like an owl and just kind of, like, started leaning in close to his face. But he was pretending he wasn't noticing me, and he just was, like, staring at his phone, playing fucking God knows what, Roblox or some shit. And everyone else on the bus was like, what the fuck, is she about to attack him? It happened another time. It was a late night bus in San Francisco. I remember I was like, because it was weird. This dude at first was sitting across from me, just like some old dude who looked like he was in some sort of pain or whatever. He went from sitting on a perfectly fine, like, across from me on this damn near empty bus to suddenly sitting directly behind me. And if you don't know about what happened, okay, I'm going to look up something for you. I want you to look up the killing of Tom McLean, but I'm going to tell you about it anyway. So Tim McLean was just some guy on a Greyhound bus. When out of nowhere, like, someone just decides to fucking behead him and start eating his fucking head and using it as a puppet to torment the other horrified passengers on the bus. And what's even scarier about this story is the guy, if I recall correctly, who beheaded someone and ate his fucking skull and used it as a hand puppet, he got away fucking free. Like, scot-free. Like, that nigga is just out casually alive and in public. He got, like, he was granted freedom in, like, 2017, if I recall correctly. I could be wrong, though, but that's still pretty fucking, it's like, he only got 10 years for that? There's people doing longer for weed. Like, there's people who just decided, I'm a California person who's gonna drive through Texas with the tiniest bit of weed in my pocket, and then next thing you know, they probably got way longer than that. What the fuck? So, as you can imagine, I was freaked the fuck out. Because I don't like to be put in situations. And that was the situation. And I kept turning around like, what the fuck is this doing? Is he tweaking? I don't see a weapon in his hand, but it's like, he just was kind of like rocking back and forth a bit. Maybe as if he wasn't like having some sort of muscle pain in his leg and was just trying to keep active. Or maybe he was just a hyperactive person. But I thought to myself, there's no fucking reason this man had to go from sitting across from me to sitting behind me. Like, does he want to sniff me? Is he gonna do cum sharking on me? And if you don't know what cum sharking is, I'll tell you. It's when a man starts edging himself and jerking off, and then, like, he nuts on your back so that then, like, you walk around with his cum. It's a sick fetish and deserving of a crime. Sexual assault, basically. And, he got off at the same bus stop as me, but thankfully nothing fucking happened. And yeah, I remember I was on the bus at San Francisco about to head back to my town, and this motherfucking weird, like, okay, there was this black guy on the bus, like, empty fucking bus aside from just me, and he chose to sit at the very far back of the bus with only one single seat behind him. You want to know what happened? This extremely fucking crazy loud couple starts arguing in Spanish, getting on the bus, yelling as loud as they can, and where do they choose? They sit directly behind him and sit down and keep fucking yelling. And then he literally takes off his headphones and he's like, you mean to tell me on all this fucking room on the bus, you choose to sit behind me and start that loud ass shit? What the fuck is wrong with you? And they ignore him and look at him like he's crazy, but just ignore him and just keep arguing like, da 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 da, yeah, da 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 da. And he's just like, oh my fucking god, bro. And I make eye contact with him and I roll my eyes and I hope that signifies to him, you are not crazy, these niggas are indeed tripping. It happened to me multiple times in Berkeley, and I'm figuring out some tactics on how to deal with it. Like, what I do is I just fucking move the second they sit down. I was on a bus headed to Berkeley. These motherfuckers sat directly behind me and start loud as fuck talking and coughing and shit. That also annoys me when someone sits behind me just to also be the type that doesn't cover their mouth when they cough. Fucking disgusting. As soon as I hear them sit down, I fucking move seats immediately. And just to fucking just to make it obvious, I gesture to all the empty seats in front and behind me, and then just put in my AirPods and mind my fucking business. Cause it's like, why the fuck would you do that? Really? Like, really? And it's even more annoying because let's say I'm sweaty or something. And I'm like, I'm going to choose to sit at the back of the bus specifically so that I don't... Actually, fuck, this did happen yesterday before my plans at the comedy event. I chose to sit at the far back of the bus because I was like, you know what, I'm sweaty. I might smell a little weird. I'm not trying to have anybody give me weird stares. And I'm going to sit all the way at the back so that specifically no one can annoy me. You know what happened? This dude who was standing at the bus stop with me, he thought I was looking at him. When I obviously was not. I was looking at the direction of the bus that was coming our way to pick us up. And I guess I noticed him looking at me. I just straight up shake my head and look away. And this idiot, in just fucking stupid man fashion, he's like, yeah, she's totally fucking interested in me. You see that deadpan fucking head shake and immediately looking away? Yeah, she wants me. So guess what this nigga does? He chooses to come to the very far back of the bus, sit, like, directly next to me, and then just stare at me. And just... I even was so pissed, I just straight up recorded that shit. I was like, you didn't tell me all this fucking space on this bus. Empty, huge bus. And he does this shit. And then the second the next stop came, like, he tried to, like, stare at me and smile, maybe do a little flirty wave. I was like, fuck no. And I just moved seats as soon as I fucking could and thought, I hope this guy doesn't come shock me or behead me because I moved up closer up front. And I don't want him doing a sneak attack from behind, but I also don't want this nigga just chilling in the back where no one can see us like this because that's fucking weird. And I know, I get it. Like, it's a public space. People are allowed to do what they want. It's a free country, blah. It doesn't change the fact that it's still just a weird and annoying fucking thing to do. In a lot of ways. It's like, be self-aware enough to be, like, I don't know, man. Like, I'm the type of person where if I see someone taking pictures in public, I will pause for a second to let them snap some pictures or offer to take their pictures because I'm a considerate fucking person. Like, if I'm in a rush and I walk through, then it's like, okay, nigga, boo-hoo, you have to wait a few seconds to take a picture. Meanwhile, some of us have jobs we're getting to. Like, you will live. But if it's something, like, just certain things, it's like, why would you choose to do that? It's just a weird criticism. There's a video online where this couple paid for a really romantic beachside dinner, and it's obvious, like, they aren't taking up much space either. But on a wide, empty fucking beach with, like, thousands and thousands of empty sand, this woman decides to sit directly next to their dinner table, like, directly in front of their dinner table, and splash around in the water directly in front of them, as they have, like, the candles, the fancy roses, the people playing violins. She just chooses, yeah, fuck their view, fuck everything about them, I'm gonna ruin this. That's happened to me multiple times before. I was at Alameda Beach, I was relaxing, I was like, you know what, I literally thought to myself, what a pleasant fucking day. The sun's perfect, the calmness of the ocean, the warm temperature and softness of the sand, and I'm reading some good book and eating some fucking happy hour Italian food I scored for really cheap. What a beautiful way. I could spend hours like this relaxing. And then I heard the sounds of, like, I can't do an 808, but I just heard the sounds of shitty fucking SoundCloud rap music being blasted from someone's shitty Android phone. And then I heard the sounds of, oh my god, Damien, stop! And I smelled a fucking thick cloud of weed. And I thought, here the fuck we go. I know what's happening. Guess what? A crowd of fucking teenagers decided to intrude upon the beach because, like, it's like there's free access to use the beach. I wouldn't be mad at teens skipping school to use the beach, but they immediately decided, yes, we're going to blow Nick vape, weed vape, and fucking blueberry scented whatever the fuck all in the air and ruin this for anyone here. We're gonna blast music and be as loud and arrogant as fucking possible, and we're going to specifically sit a mere 8 feet away from this lady who is very peacefully sitting here minding her business. All the smoke was like blowing directly into my face. They were ridiculously loud. Their music was fucking ass and shitty, ass and shitty, ass and shitty, in hundreds and fifties. I hated it. And to make matters worse, those niggas some of them were also staring at me like I was the fucking weirdo. It's like, no, I'm the person wearing a fucking scarf and a swimsuit at the beach, minding my business and reading a book. Like, you decided to immediately be the biggest assholes here. And mind you, thousands of empty feet on an empty beach, and you choose to sit, like, barely even social distancing length that you'd see in a fucking Walgreens away from me. And then they mocked me as I picked up my shit and walked farther down the beach. But then guess what? Guess what happened again? Another time. Actually, no, that same time. The exact same shit happened. This loud ass couple with their kid, like, just decided to do that shit. Like, they were quieter, so I didn't mind it as much, but it still got on my fucking nerves because it's like, they choose to sit directly next to me on an empty beach. They get extremely fucking loud, and then they also have to slip in some sort of weird remarks or stares my way. Once I was on a beach, and I remember I thought, beautiful, I'm here with my natural hair and my silk orange sundress, and I'm having a blast. And then this family of fucking like 12 people with their kids come splashing in. Now, kids splashing at the beach, that's fine. But creepy, judgmental Latino families snarling at me and looking at me like I'm a fucking crackhead weirdo because I dare to exist as a black person with my natural hair in public, and judging me for the way I'm stretching or sitting or reading a book or sipping my water. It's like, okay, first of all, you're at a beautiful beach with the sunset and your kids, and you choose to stare at me, you fucking weirdo, with a snarl, and they weren't even like... I wanted to assume the man had mental issues, because it's like the stares were unbreaking, too. Like, imagine someone just staring at you for like fucking 20 minutes straight, unbreakingly. Fucking creepy. But two, if you thought I was a danger, why would you choose to sit fucking next to me? So anyway, I don't like these people or not these people. I don't like people who have no spatial awareness or common sense, because they do the dumbest shit in the world and they inconvenience others, and then they want to act like you're the problem for noticing it. Like, Jesus Christ, you should start noticing shit more, maybe. Then we wouldn't have these dilemmas. Alright, bye.